Hey folks, today we are taking a look at Transformers Energon Bulkhead. Now this figure is currently in his power-linked vehicle mode. This ultra-class figure comes with two different figures in it, I guess you could say. One is the helicopter part up top, and the second is this power base down below. Now this figure in the Japanese Superlink show was called Sprung, and this mold was repainted to Autobot Quick Strike. I believe it was Autobot Quick Strike in the Energon toy line. The Quick Strike was kind of a red and white version of this figure. I really like this figure. I think this is a great looking figure and is really, really interesting. Now, if you've ever watched Superlink or even Energon, you will know that Sprung is kind of the Master Roshi of the Transformers universe. If you're not an anime fan, you probably wouldn't know who Master Roshi is. He is a character from the Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z animes and manga by Akira Toriyama. He's known as the Turtle Hermit, and he has a very peculiar way of walking and acting. Kind of imagine an old pervert wearing a giant turtle shell on his back. That's the best way to describe him. Now, Bulkhead here actually very much mimics Master Roshi's mannerisms and walking, but when it's time to kick some butt, he kicks some butt. So let's go ahead and separate the two here, and we'll take a look at the base station first. The base station, when in vehicle mode, is just this pancake-like gun encampment. But the one thing that is very cool about it is it does open up and become kind of a walker. You can get this walking RoboCop-esque thing going here. Bear with me for just a sec. So there we go. It's got its walker mode. Now, I don't remember if this ever showed up in the show. I don't remember ever seeing this displayed in the show. It does come with lights and sounds. Unfortunately, my batteries are dead, so give me just a second to see if I can get some batteries. So the base unit takes these little tiny batteries, and between the cut and this section of the video, I went to both Target and Walmart, and they were out of these kinds of batteries, both. So sorry about that, folks. No lights and sounds in this review. So the walking ED09 ripoff we've got going here is actually pretty cool. I dig this. I think it's a really neat little accessory. So now that we've taken a look at the little base, let's go ahead and put him off to the side and bring in the Bulkhead figure itself. Now it does have a spinning gimmick. You push the landing gear in the back here, and you could get the blades spinning really well. But if you stop it with your finger, it's not going to hurt that much. Now, the helicopter itself is unique and interesting, but a little bit odd. I'm going to say that flat out. They really didn't know what to do with the robot arms, so they're kind of sitting above the wings, you know, completely preventing the thing from gaining any real lift or maneuverability. I guess they're supposed to be guns, but hey, they didn't really have anywhere else to put the arms. What are you going to do? Unfortunately, I did lose the missiles to this guy. Sorry, just lost the missiles, but they are black missiles, and they do fire, and they actually fired pretty far. Unfortunately, like I said, I completely lost them. So, transformation for this guy is pretty unique. First thing we're going to do is pull off the blades, and this whole section is supposed to be able to pull out. Like, this whole piece is supposed to pull out, but for the life of me, I can't get it out. And, of course, I just wasn't trying hard enough. So, we'll talk about this in a little bit. So now that we pulled that piece out, and the way I did it was, I actually just took this and pushed it all the way up. And what that did, there's this piece right here, it actually pushed it all the way in, and I was able to pull it out. So, like I said, we'll talk about this in a bit. So here we have, actually, I think I've seen this in a video game once, original PlayStation game, about a flying heligunner ship thing. Anyway. So, transformation. Pretty easy, actually. So we'll start off by coming to the front of the vehicle and unpeg the black pieces from the nose cone and fold those straight down. Once we've got this section folded down, we can then take it and rotate it 180 degrees and continue folding it down along the back of the tail. Take the sections where obviously it's going to be the arms and unpeg them from the fuselage of the vehicle and just kind of get them forward like that. Now, the front of the vehicle is obviously going to collapse here, as you saw, but before we do that, what I'm going to do is come back to the missiles on the wings and rotate them around to the other side of the wings, like that, and then take the feet and put them forward and fold out the feet. Then take the front section, start by just slightly folding that down, get to about that point, and then reach underneath the canopy and push up Bulkhead's head. And then you can fold the rest of the nose cone up and fold him all the way down and latch the torso into place. Then we can fold up the arms into the shoulders, fold the arms out straight and rotate them so the screw holes are pointing back, and open up the fists to flip out the hands. So here we have Bulkhead in robot mode. And I gotta admit, robot mode's pretty cool. I like the robot mode. It looks good. Obviously he's a helicopter, but I like it. So I've gone ahead and added the helicopter blades and that little piece that comes out of his back to the unit, or to the figure, just for cohesion's sake, because without it, there's a giant freaking hole in his back. The figure overall, in robot mode, like I said, it looks good. It's interesting. I really like the head sculpt as well, which I'll show you in a second. My only complaint are the missiles. The missile pods do get in the way of a lot of posability, and they're just kind of hanging there. Not a deal breaker by any means, but it would be nice if they could, get out of the way a little bit. As I said, I like the head sculpt a lot. It's just pretty cool. It doesn't quite look like the way he does in the show, but that's okay. Plenty of light piping there, as you can see, and it does get a good effect. Overall, a very solid head mold. Bulkhead is highly posable, though there are a few minor issues, but we'll talk about that here. So head is on a swivel, arms swivel at the shoulder, actually more of a ratchet at the shoulder, and then you have in and out movements. And whenever I try to move the arms, the pegs that hold the arms together do have a tendency to come apart. Not a huge deal, but it is annoying. Swivel just above the elbow, more than 90 degrees at the elbow. Fist does not move at all. There is no torso articulation, but the legs are on ratchets for in and out movement. Swivel just under that, or I'm sorry, just above the knee, and then the knee can bend. And then you've got swivel just above the ankle and some minor ankle articulation. So you can get off some poses with this guy, but unfortunately, just because of the arms and these side skirts with the missile pods, things just get in the way and end up looking a little bit goofy. Not bad, mind you, just a little bit goofy. Now, he does have a weapon. He does have a handheld weapon, and that's the rotor assembly that comes out of his back. So what you do is you fold down that peg and then attach the rotor so you can have him hold the rotor weapon like a fan, like that. Or the directions that I have also have him holding it like some kind of blade weapon. I've seen it like this as well. And again, I don't remember if he used this in the show. I went back and looked at the show and I just couldn't find him actually using this at all. But a nice little additional. So, we mentioned at the beginning of this review that these two guys do power links in vehicle mode. They also power links in robot mode as well. For the power links gimmick, there's nothing you need to do to Bulkhead to prepare, but for this thing, what I like to do is just point the legs straight up like that. Now, what you do is, actually you will have to just open these side panels, and then you just turn it around so the button is facing forward and drop it straight on, and there are pegs that will snap in to the hole behind Bulkhead's head. And every once in a while when I do this, things just get in the way, so you just kind of ratchet things around until everything comes into place nicely. And one of the gimmicks is you can push on Bulkhead's actual robot head, and that will create the sound. That will create some of the sound gimmicks. And here we have Bulkhead Power Links mode. I actually like this a lot. Now, there are a few things that I did forget to do when I was putting him together. The first of which was the panels underneath each arm. Had to remember that. Now, one thing I always forget with this figure is you have to put the missiles back to the way they were when he's in helicopter mode. So the missiles are pointing back. I'm not sure if that's actually in the directions, but it's something I always end up having to do because it just gets in the way. So I end up having to do that in order to actually get the backpack on. Now the figure looks really good, but I don't need to tell you that even with small batteries, this figure is incredibly top heavy right now. Thankfully he has big feet, and that's a good thing because that keeps him from falling over. That's really the only negative I have over this mode, is the fact that it's really top heavy. But even with that top heaviness, I rather like this figure. It's a lot of fun, and I don't think we've had a figure like this in a while either. I can't think of any figure off the top of my head that has a feature or a giant backpack like this. It's really cool. I really like this a lot. Okay, other than Ultimate Prime from Dark of the Moon. But that's more of an exosuit than just a backpack of destruction. So he gains these giant capture claws. I think there are laser cannons in the claws as well, and machine gun beam guns above his head. Overall, Bulkhead's a lot of fun. Bulkhead is a fun figure, and I really think he needs to be in your collection. If you could see it at a yard sale and it's complete, I would get it. I really would. It's a lot of fun. You can have a lot of fun posing him, especially with the backpack. And he also has one little fun thing that we Transformers fans like to do. And no Transformers aviation figure would be complete without the prerequisite Gerwalk mode! Yeah, we Transformers fans love our Gerwalk mode. So yep, it is totally doable with Energon Bulkhead and Energon Quick Strike. You can totally do a Gerwalk mode. It is a little bit on the tough side though sometimes because things just want to move around where you don't want them to. But like I said, overall, it's a pretty darn good figure. And if you're a fan of Gerwalk modes, you have to get this figure in your collection. So guys, hope you enjoyed this look at Transformers Energon Bulkhead. Be sure to check me out on Twitter at twitter.com/Baltmatrix, and be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you guys next time.